Hey, this is Laura Whitmore with the She Rocks podcast. I'm on with Mixi from Stitched Up Heart. We're chatting on the phone for a few minutes about her new album and life in general. So, hey, Mixi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am juggling. I am figuring out how to record in a little room with no heat and dogs and kids and everything else going on.
Hey, you know what? It's an exciting new adventure that takes us out of our everyday life and kind of, stirs things up a little bit.
For sure. And I'm not going to say it's all been bad because it's been kind of nice, actually.
I really feel like it's weird because I know there's a lot of sadness happening, but I'm trying to bring the positive light into it. And for me, I feel like we're able to spend more time with the people, like family, that we weren't able to before, and work on, creative projects that we wouldn't necessarily have time for usually, and just stuff like that. So there's positive things in it, the environment, all that stuff, I think, and I'm trying to look at the bright side.
Yeah, me too. And I'm with you. It's kind of nice having family dinners even, which we haven't done for years. My kids have been everywhere, but it's an interesting place for us to be. But I want to talk about you and your new album, Darkness. Can you share a little bit about the project and what was your inspiration behind it?
Yeah, this is our second full-length album. We wanted to try to kind of change things up a little bit from the previous record, Never Alone, and try to, expand our creative, juices and try stuff outside of our comfort zone, outside of our, our lane, and see how far we could go with it. Because we have with Never Alone, we could have done that record as an extension, but we really wanted to explore new territory. So we tried a whole bunch of throw and paint. We wrote 70 songs for the album.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a lot of experimenting and finding what we felt like was good and unique in its own way. And so our real goal was to try to create something super unique and different than we've ever done.
That's cool. I love how melodic your music is. And, you could sing along to it, but it's still great, kick-ass heavy rock.
Wow, thank you.
It's a nice combination of elements.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of heavy guitars and a catchy vocal melody, and heartfelt lyrics, something that means something. So I tried to make catchy melodies, I don't always succeed, but I try to make something that'll get stuck in your head or make you want to sing along to it. Mm-hmm.
I think it was interesting, too, to me to listen to, your use of dynamics and the softer elements in some of the songs was, a really nice juxtaposition where everything is not, hitting you upside the head,
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely a huge advocate for dynamics. I love when you go from super quiet, very, whispery vocal to, belting, loud, and heavy guitars. It's like taking one extreme to the next, and it just keeps you on a roller coaster ride of different feelings instead of just, monotone across the board. This is what it is the whole time, you know?
Yeah. What do you do to get your vocal chops in such a great place where you can do all that live too?
Honestly, I do not have the best vocal chops, but I try my best. I think I just like different styles. I have a very eclectic taste when it comes to vocal delivery. So it's not like I meant to. I just this would sound cool here if I whispered, and then if I scream over here, that might sound cool. I just like to explore as far as I can go with every side of the spectrum.
Yeah, so you're like, hey, let me try this, and then, hey, let me see if I can actually do it live.
Exactly. When we first started this band, I had no idea I could even scream. I just would write the screaming parts for the band to scream, one of the guys, but I ended up screaming it, and I was like, oh, I can scream.
I can do this.
And
and many other things.
I could.
In high heels and backwards.
Right.
So it must be a little bit difficult to not be able to tour right now. What are you guys doing to get it out into the world?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, this was we had a tour planned right after the release, and it was literally postponed until October now.
Wow.
So immediately, the first thing I did was order a pizza because I've been on like a diet trying to get prepared for tour, go to the gym every day. I was like, I'm eating a whole pizza.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
The second thing I did was I fostered kittens with a organization called Kitten Rescue in Los Angeles, kittenrescue.org, and bottle babies specifically. And I was like, well, I have free time now. I can definitely spend some time helping some babies grow into, adoptable kittens. So right now I have 3 little kittens attacking my feet, and it's awesome.
That's cool. That's very cool. And sorry, I got distracted by someone in my house. There's so many people here. So share a little bit about your creative process. Do you guys write together as a band? Like, what did you do to get those 70 songs going?
It varies each album. Like, we actually have some free time on this one the next one, to write just the 2 of us. We don't usually do that. We did it in the beginning of the band. But with Darkness, a lot of it was just us going into the studio and getting all the ideas out into the box, like right there. And I find that I feel like the best quality and the best authentic right there, right now kind of stuff comes out. Like whatever's happening that day, that's what we're going through, and that's what it's feeling like. And I love doing it like that and getting it right on the recording immediately, as opposed to writing it as a band and like jamming it through a bunch of times. And I feel like the initial idea comes out better for some reason when we go in the studio and write. But that's just us, and it changes. But this one specifically, it's been mostly so far this next one. Since we have so much time.
Oh my gosh, right.
Already been working on the next record, obviously.
Why not?
Well, we got to do 70 to 100 songs. So
right.
So we'll
use your time wisely.
Exactly. So we're trying to be productive, and it's really just Merritt and I going, and he's just coming up with a bunch of riffs and song start ideas, and then we're going from there on which ones we want to move forward with and all that.
That's cool. I mean, I like that idea of that spontaneous energy sort of being a part of the creative process.
Yeah, there's something about the initial idea that comes into play when you come, like, instead of thinking it over for like a week, you have a day to kind of figure out what you want to say. You're in the mental headspace. It's on the recording. How you're feeling and thinking about the subject comes out right there. And the majority of the time, that's just, I don't know, it just feels like the best way to go about it for me.
Yeah, and I guess there's no rules. I mean, you could always go back later if you wanted to and say, hey, let me change this or whatever. But
exactly. Yeah. Everybody's art is created different. Like, somebody might want to use acrylic versus oil. And, it's just all based off what you feel like is getting the best end result.
I will say there's something to be said for, at the end of your day, having created something whole, where you're not walking away thinking, oh, I still have to write the bridge, or I need to do this other part, or at least you walk out of there, even if it's not 100% done, it's, it's in some sort of whole form,
Actually, the bridge is the only thing sometimes we come back to, because it is almost, I feel like, a separate song inside of a song. For me, I feel like it's like another dimension of the song that needs to be almost stepped away from and come back to. But usually the basic concept of the song, like the intro, the verse, the chorus, the pre-chorus, all that stuff is already thought up in the structure. But then the bridge is like, this is a totally different element. That's why you'll find that a lot of the bridges that we have, it is almost like it pulls you into a different song.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the bridge's job, right? To have like this other idea.
Yeah, it's like, if you watch a television show and they have one main theme over the whole like season of the show, but then there's different storylines inside. Something like that, I guess.
Yeah, some counterpoint idea for sure. So, I know, so I've been writing in the music space for a long time. I wrote for Guitar World for years, and I know it could be hard for women to be respected in heavy rock. Do you think attitudes towards women in that space has shifted? What's your experience with that?
My actual observation has changed over time because I feel like I guess I didn't have enough experience to realize that it was still kind of an issue because, I don't know what it's like to be a guy, but I have noticed, and I'm sure you have, the difference in how much harder you kind of have to prove yourself and to be taken seriously just as a woman in more so male dominated industry and heavy music. I don't know what it is and why it's like we just have to try harder even, we have to like be one on top and even better. And like, I feel like guys sometimes have it a little bit easier where people are just accepting. They're like, oh, it's a guy in a band. And then they see a girl and they're like, all right, let's see if she's even worth listening to, and it's weird because for me, I get excited when I see a female in a band. Like, I'm just like stoked on it. It makes me excited. Maybe that's because I'm a girl. I don't know. But I do have noticed a lot lately that almost some bands won't take out bands that have girls in it just because there's a girl in it, And I don't know if it's like bro code stuff or what it is, but I definitely see a little more difficult and a little more judgmental being female in the industry.
Yeah, it's tough. You walk on the stage and already people are like, okay, prove to me that you're good enough. Whereas if it was just a guy or whatever, you might just be, oh, let's hear this band, not this person in the band has to prove themselves to me.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that different mindset on it.
Yeah, it's, you'd think in this day and age it would be better, but I just think it's sort of ingrained in a lot of our society here for whatever
hopefully
reason.
It changes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess being vocal about it and sharing about it, hopefully at least will bring some awareness to the fact that it is still a situation. And I think it's not even just women. I think in anything in life, there's still like, stigmas on different religions and color and male and female and gay and straight.
Age,
and
whatever. Yeah.
Age, yeah. Everything is, there's just, people are just so ready to judge other people when maybe they need to like clean their side of the street and take a look at where, they're coming from.
Yeah, it is interesting how judgmental like it is, especially in this country and probably other countries too. I don't know. I've been around long enough that I've learned you for sure can't judge a situation by what you see because you have no idea what's really going on. But yeah, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that we're like that with each other. Maybe with all this stuff going on in the world, we'll be a little nicer.
That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking that, like, I wonder, because like I said, I just try to see the positive in stuff, and I wonder if, some of the people I've seen walking around the street, like if I go to this grocery store, some have been kind of rude, but there have been some people that are like, stay safe out there and be careful and like, making sure to check in with people. And I don't know, hopefully it'll kind of, maybe we needed something like this to shake up the world a little in order to realize we're all connected and, we're all one people.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm trying to look at the positive outcomes from this too, and I'm hoping that's one of them. So I'm thinking that too. Hey, so I saw that you guys have partnered with Guitars for Vets. Could you share a little bit about what they do and what you guys are doing with them?
Yeah, we actually wanted to do something that, work with an organization that helped our veterans somehow for our single warrior. And so we came out with a T-shirt, and any purchases go to the Guitars for Vets Foundation, which was actually brought up by the label, and they found them, and I just thought it was a great organization, so definitely check it out. But yeah, it makes sense. It's guitars, it's rock, it's for veterans, and it just all made sense and came together.
That's awesome. I've met those guys. I was at a conference, and they were on a panel with me. And so we chatted after, and I was like so impressed by what they do and how they try to inspire, veterans and get people, out of their heads for what they've been through. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what the song is about too, because, being a warrior, I was like, how do you say that you are if you haven't, in order to get to that point, you have to have gone through a lot of stuff to get there to make you that warrior that you are, and all the stuff that you've seen coming from war and all the PTSD and the stuff that, like how it affects you and changes you as a person. Just really wanted to write a song about that. But yeah, Guitars for Vets is an awesome organization, and definitely if you're listening, check it out. Yeah,
that's really cool. So, one thing that also stood out to me while I was checking out your music and all of your background and everything was all the awesome videos that you guys have. So, can you share a little bit about how you do your videos? Do you work with a director? Like, do you have any standout moments from creating the videos for the album?
Yeah, they all kind of, the last couple videos have kind of been based, like I was able to have so much creative control. It was really exciting. I've
awesome.
Never had that much creative control. I basically came up with Warrior, the whole concept for that. I wanted it to look like kind of like 300, like the movie. And I thought, I don't know, it was just really cool because I got to help Ron Underwood, who directed it. It was just like him and I collaborating on ideas, and it was cool to see it come to life. And Lost is just really mostly just a live performance. I really just wanted to document being able to tour with Godsmack and how awesome it was, and try to get it all onto video, So it was just one of those cool moments that you can't believe that you actually were able to do that. I want to be able to show, if I ever have kids, I want to be able to show my kids' one day, hey, Grandma did this back in the day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I watched this video where you were talking about all your tattoos, and I was like, this is such a great conversation about your tattoos and your thoughts behind them and everything. So I don't know, like I have a few tattoos myself, and they all have like super deep meaning to me. So are you more of an off-the-cuff sort of, hey...
Oh, yeah. Tattooing for me is almost like therapeutic. It's like I need to feel alive, and I want something to, something visually that I like as art to stay on me forever. It's like a change, like a pin or I don't know. There's something that like it marks a time in your life, and I get the itch every once in a while. It's been a while. My next tattoo is actually, I haven't gotten it yet because I haven't really been down to deal with sitting in a chair for a couple hours and being tortured. But my dad got his first tattoo, and he's 62, and he just got it last year. He got a wolf on his arm, half sleeve, first tattoo, 10 hours, and I was like,
wow,
go Dad.
Impressive.
And I was like, all right, well, you got to, I'm going to get the same one on the back of my leg whenever I, muster up the guts to go back and, get inked for a while. It's just, I think after all the tattoos I've gotten over time, it feels like it hurts more now, like, because I've been through it. I used to do it like, I can get through this. Like, if I can get through this, I can get through anything, And now I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this again. And I'm like putting numbing cream on and stuff. I'm like, I just really like the art. And I think another thing that I realized not too long ago that I do tattoo myself is I think that I feel vulnerable when I have like my skin showing for some reason. And when I have tattoos on, I don't feel as naked and vulnerable, and I don't know why. Feels like I put like sleeves on,
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's like this protective guard
So do you look at it as, so this is probably a strange analogy for this, but when I was younger and I started traveling around the world, I had this charm bracelet, and everywhere I went in the world, I would get a charm and put it on my bracelet, and then my bracelet got to be so full of charms that I couldn't even fit another charm on it. And I was like, wow, I've done a lot in my life, and here's a visual like representation of the many places I've been in the world. Like,
wow, that's a really, really awesome idea. And that's really cool that you've seen so many places. I've seen America, Canada, and Mexico, and that's about it.
But I guess I was sort of thinking about, do you think about when you see the tattoos on your body, like, do you think of them as like experiences you've lived through? They're like a visual representation of living.
Yeah, kind of, or more what I'm about. Like, more like what I see and what I like my artistic vision. I usually, like, something catches my eye artistically, I want to do something similar to that in a certain place on my body. Like my arms, for example, are all storm clouds with like lightning and the stars and the planets, and it kind of represents, like, you know, and I have a hot air balloon that's kind of floating through the storm clouds, kind of like me in life, and just like, all right, we're going to get through this one too, you know?
Well, that's kind of like when I look at my tattoos, I'm like, okay, these helped me through a tough time. These marked my transition into like the next thing. So.
Oh yeah, I still have the 16-year-old tattoo of a dolphin. I actually just covered one up, and one that I drew in like art class, and I put on my elbows. I still have those shooting stars. But yeah, I think that they're like little moments, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I used to draw and do all this stuff.
Yeah. That's funny. So anyhow, I mean, I'm loving your music. I'm a big fan, and I'm so happy to talk to you. Is there anything else you'd like to share about? Are you guys doing the whole live stream thing? Are you sharing music in any way that we can direct people to? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we have been doing just like Facebook Live Hangouts. We did an acoustic performance like a little while ago, but we're waiting to do another one because we want to transpose and change the acoustic performance up a little bit. But yeah, every Tuesday at 3:30, usually after band practice, because we still are having band practice, just staying 6 feet away from each other.
Hey, you could do that. Yeah. You could practice 6 feet away from me. Maybe you want to be further. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm used to the close quarters with the guys, but yeah, so after practice, we've just been doing like a Tuesday hangout on Facebook Live and just chilling, giving away free stuff, and just to keep connection and like talk to people, because I know people are bored, and I don't know, we are too, so we want to say hi. But yeah, and then obviously you can go to our YouTube, Stitched Apart Rock, Spotify, Stitched Apart, Instagram, Facebook. We were pretty active. Try to post at least once a day, doing like a question of the day thing and all that stuff, keeping things moving since we're all stuck in our houses.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you found it challenging to take your songs and do acoustic versions of them, or no?
Well, we actually changed. We had our drummer, who's actually a very good piano player as well. He transposed them onto piano, and then we, went with the acoustic guitar and the bass on it, the way that he was playing the piano, and the piano became the main musical part. So now we have to change it again because he's actually in Pennsylvania taking care of his parents who are a little older, and he's just being a good son and feeding them and going to the store and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's really good what he's doing, but now with the acoustic, we haven't actually gone over it yet, but it probably won't take long to figure it out.
Well, it's kind of cool because then you get to examine what you've done in a new way. Maybe something new about it will reveal itself to you.
Maybe. I mean, I guess that's what it's all about, is trying things and seeing what happens, and if it works, it works.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks so much for spending a few minutes chatting, and best of luck to you in this crazy time, and we'll direct everybody to check out your music.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, you take care.
You too.
Right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.